ज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः. So here, Prit Maharaj is trying to help his citizens by giving instructions, and now he is setting a good example and teaching them how to take association of great saintly people. And he is nicely received the four Kumaras and is worshipping them. And this is actually what is the most important thing. If I want to overcome my false pride, and when we want to chant attentively, but what happens is our ahankara, the false pride, that comes in between. That does not allow us to focus on the holy name. And we will not be, we want to hear the holy name, but holy name, and we are getting so many other thoughts. That is because of our false ego and pride. Of course, false ego only manifests like pride, and that is the reason we are not able to focus. But when we serve great personalities, then what happens is we can overcome this pride, and that helps us to focus on the holy name. It's a very fast effect. It will not take much time also. You can see the result immediately. So that is the advantage of Mahat Seva. Direct service we should do, matlab personal service. That is the reason we should call devotees to home, feed them prasadam. This is not something very some sentimental thing. It's a very scientific thing, because that is the way Lord has created the system to help us overcome pride, and also it helps us to be detached also. So here we will see how uh, Ritu Maharaj he received and how he is addressing them, and he is uh, how he is uh, glorifying and appreciating, because we should know, if we are valuing, then they also start responding accordingly. Otherwise they think, okay, this person, whether he really needs association or not, they should also feel it. Otherwise then they will say, okay, this fellow is only just show off, so they will not be able to do much. But if they feel that this person really is interested in associating, then their heart also opens up. So we'll just read the translation of what all Prithu Maharaj said, because uh, anytime if your chanting is not good, then you can use this as the method. So to call devotees to home, serve them prasadam, take care of them nicely, do as much as service to Vaishnavas. Immediately we can see, and we should do with a proper mood. Then we'll see that the chanting will definitely improve. King Prithu spoke, my dear great sages, auspiciousness personified. It is very difficult for even the mystic yogis to see you. So we discussed that, no? We are not able to see because we are not qualified only to see them. You are very rarely seen. I do not know what kind of pious activities I have performed for you to grace me by appearing before me without difficulty. So this is, they will not come to our online Zoom class to give association, because we are not qualified to receive them and understand what they are telling. That much realization is not there. So that's why they don't come. So he is telling it's a very great privilege that you are coming here. And that is true also for in reality. He is not just telling out a sentiment. We cannot get such people's association. And he says that any person upon whom the Brahmanas and Vaishnavas are pleased can achieve anything which is very rare to obtain in this world as well as after death. Not only that, but one also receives the favor of the auspicious Lord Shiva, Lord Vishnu, who accompany the Brahmanas and Vaishnavas. So this is another thing which is important for us. We need the mercy, and we can accomplish anything. See, we want to overcome our anarthas. Anarthas are such a big difficulty for us. And what to do? Yes, then serve Brahmanas and Vaishnavas, please them, then our anarthas will go away. That is the method. And Prithvi Maharaj continued, although you are traveling in all practices, people cannot know you just as they cannot know the super soul. So even if they come also, will not be able to understand. Even what to speak of other, even uh, our spiritual masters and all, they are very advanced. We will not be able to understand so easily unless we have some gratitude in heart. Even Lord Brahma, Lord Shiva cannot understand super soul. And a person who is not very rich and is attached to family life becomes highly glorified when saintly persons are present in his home. The master and the servants who are engaged in offering the exalted visitors water, a sitting place, and paraphernalia for reception are glorified, and the home itself is also glorified. So we should regularly receive the saintly persons and serve them very diligently. And then further he says that on the contrary, even though full of all opulences and material prosperity, any householder house where the devotees are of the Lord are never allowed to come in, and where there is no water for washing their feet, is to be considered a tree in which all venomous serpents live. So this we discussed that the people within the house, they are envious of each other because they are not glorifying the Lord. Envious in the sense that everybody want to satisfy their own mind, their own fulfill their own desires. So that comes the problem. Let's say there will be always some tensions, and bigger the houses and bigger the property and everything, and if they are not God conscious, see, if they are happily living, that means they are God centered family. They have some pious activities, some rituals, something they are doing. They may not be directly doing bhakti, but some spiritual rituals they should be doing that helps them to live peaceful life. Otherwise, it is not going to work. They will eventually break up. That's actually what is happening if you see very advanced countries. So much opulence is there, but the families are very divided. They are very nuclear families, and or they have single parenting, or all these things is because of this reason only, because they don't have God centered life. And India, it survive for and many countries where there is some God consciousness. It can be any other country. It can be wherever there are good families and all. You can see they have some sort of religious beliefs. So that's the point. And then he further says that Maharaj Prithu offered his welcome to the four Kumaras, addressing them as the best of the Brahmanas. He welcomed them, saying, from the beginning of your birth, you strictly observe the vows of celibacy, and although you are experienced in path of liberation, you are keeping yourselves just like small children. So this is the main glorification of Kumaras. They don't want to become big because they don't want hormonal problems. And then it comes then the problem comes for everyone. And this is how the system is created. Why Lord created that system? When you grow up, then because we want to exercise our desire to enjoy in this world, so Lord has to create a system. So first He gives, as soon as we are born, He gives us mind, which helps us. Then He gives the speech, because to hear our glories we need ears, then to see some things. So every desire is fulfilled by each senses. Why there are five senses? Because we have certain desires. Say, if there is no speech, we cannot enjoy in this world because we want somebody to glorify us, and we need mind to satisfy our desires. So living entities is given mind. In that way only he can exercise his free will to enjoy in this world. Without mind, there is no question of enjoyment because mind gives all the pleasures for us. All the desires are there and everything is there. So the system is created like that, so that we have mind, then we have senses, and then the senses also are having certain functionings which helps us to enjoy in a particular way. So properly we can, and then he gave male and female. This is the climax of the creation. So where it ends everything, because the rest is history. Everything will be taken care after that on its own. So Lord need not do anything. Once He creates male and female, everything is just everything is done. So this is how He created the system. So He gave male and female because they will produce further population and all. And but for Kumaras, they understood. If once we enter into it, we are caught. So they didn't want to take any risk. They said, we don't want to grow only. The senses will not trouble, mind will not trouble. You don't get certain desires. And then Prithvi Maharaj inquired from the sages about persons entangled in this dangerous material existence because of their previous actions. Could such persons, whose only aim is sense gratification, be blessed with any good fortune? So this is the question is asking. How is it possible? Could such person only aim is sense gratification blessed with any good fortune? And so about persons entangled in the dangerous material existence because of their previous action. So he is trying to get solution. If we are all entangled because of our previous actions only. The body we have is our karma. The family, the position, the mind, whatever we have is all our karma only. So we are properly engaged. And before coming to Krishna conscious, only aim is sense gratification. And be blessed with good fortune, he's asking. And then he's saying, Prithvi Maharaj continues. So this is the first question he asked. Second, he says, my dear sir, there is no need to ask about your good and bad fortune because you are always absorbed in spiritual bliss. A mental concoction of the auspicious, inauspicious does not exist in you. This is a very important point. So, duality does not exist. They are called, they are Sthita Prajnas, no duality. So, duality does not exist in such personalities. That means they can immediately see they don't consider it as it is good or bad. Why? Because they see everything in relation to God. So see everything in relation to the Supreme Lord. So if we see everything in relation to Supreme Lord, then what happens? It is not then not that they are not seeing black and white. They are seeing only one zero color, and they are not seeing that sweet is there and then there is Karela. Not that they are not getting any difference. They have difference. That means, like say, if I am eating khichdi and I am eating some sweet rice, there is difference. They can see difference, but they don't consider different because they don't consider in terms of I like, I don't like. That's why there is no duality. They say if we see in terms of what Lord wants. So what Lord wants. So if Lord wants in a particular way, I'm okay with it. So what is the problem? If Lord wants that I should get today khichdi, then I'm okay with it. Lord says, okay, today people should insult you, okay with it. So it's not I like, I don't like it. Okay, whatever Lord wants. This is the way they live. So then there is no duality for them, etc. And that is the reason. He says, because you are always absorbed in spiritual bliss. Always absorbed in spiritual bliss because no false ego. So if we give up our false ego, we can also get absorption in. And no false ego also means no selfish desires. No selfish desires. And this is we don't have bodily identifications also. No bodily identification. Just a second now. We are always caught up with uh, we are always caught up with this dualities in this world because we see in terms of I and mine. We don't see in terms of the Lord. What the Lord wants, how it works for the Lord. So then we'll not have much problem. Problem is because it is all selfishness. So when somebody is experiencing spiritual bliss, means he don't see. He says, okay, if Lord wants, we also can experience that. If we are practicing little bit, we say, if Lord wants in that way, fine with me. Why I should so much? Why should I create a big scene out of it? That is the point. Just a second, I'll share the screen. So no bodily identification. So this is why there is spiritual bliss. And then he says, I am completely assured that personalities like you are only friends for persons who are blazing in the fire of material existence. I therefore ask you how in this material world we can very soon achieve the ultimate goal of life. So he appreciates their presence. His understanding how important is association. So he's telling you are the only hope. So you are the only friend for persons who are blazing in the fire of material existence. So is appreciating their presence. It's telling is you are the only person. So what happens is you are telling to the speaker that I fully trust. I know that you are in need. When you are so much open receptive, then the person who is speaking also will also open up completely. And this is Supreme Lord is always anxious to elevate living entities who are his part and parcels. And for their special benefit, Lord travels all over the world in the form of self-realized persons like you. So you are Saksha Dharitvena, as good as the Lord. So, so devotees are as good as the Lord because they are representing the Lord, they are fulfilling the mission of Lord. That is how he is addressing. So he just told now, you please tell me. I know you will be best because you are in spiritual activity. That means there is, if somebody is always meditating on the Supreme Lord, everything is auspicious only for them. Even apparently it looks like there is a disaster, but it is good only. Like Prabhupada lost all his business. But then Prabhupada said, okay, this is good because it was auspicious for whole world. Prabhupada lost business, Prabhupada lost the family. But because of this, means family is not cooperating. Because of which we are all able to sit and practice Krishna consciousness. So it was such a big auspiciousness for the whole world, right? So Prabhupada losing the business. So because that's how the saintly persons see. When Prabhupada was telling that, no, I asked my wife, me or tea, and she chose tea. And Tamal Krishna Maharaj says, Prabhupada, we want to thank your wife for choosing tea. So because she chose tea and Prabhupada left the home. That was good. It's auspicious, right? So for them, because they consider in that way, it is easy for them. Their life is easy and everything is easy, and for us also it is easy. So then Maitreya said that Sanat Kumar, the best of the celebrates, after hearing the speech of Prithu Maharaj, which was meaningful, uh, appropriate, full of precise words, and very sweet to hear, smiled with full satisfaction and began to speak as follows. So they are meaningful, and because he knows what he is speaking, and appropriate because that's what you have to talk to a saintly people, full of precise words. He's just not, what do you say, beating around the bush. He was just so full of meaning because he understands what he's speaking. And it is appropriate. He knows with whom he is speaking. And their precise words, he is not beating around the bush. And very sweet to hear. So is anadvegakam satyam prihitam chet. So this is how Prithu Maharaj, he was expressing his words and everything properly. So he knows what to speak, he knows with whom he is speaking, and he is also very clear about. So is very good clarity in speech. If we know the subject, if we know the purpose, everything, then it is easy to speak. And Sanat Kumar Uvacha Sadhu Prishtam Maharaja Sarvabhuta Hitatmanam Bhavata Vidusha Chapi Sadhu Nam Maitri Idrishi. Sanat Kumar said, my dear King Prithu, I am very nicely questioned by you. Such questions are beneficial for all living entities, especially because they are raised by you. You are always thinking of good of others, although you are knowing everything. You ask such questions because this is the behavior of saintly person. Such intelligence is befitting your position. So now they are appreciating Prithu Maharaj. For what they are appreciating? So first is I am very nicely questioned. So questions are very nice. First point. And second thing, such questions are beneficial for all living entities. Muniyah sadhu prishtoham bhavadbhir lokamangalam. Because it is lokamangalam. Lokamangalam. So beneficial for all living entities, especially because they are raised by you who are always thinking. And it is not these questions are great, but it is coming from persons like you. It is not very astonishing because you always think of other living entities. And another thing they are telling, although you know everything, you ask such questions because it is a behavior of saintly people. So even when we know also, when we ask questions, this is out of their humility. They think, okay, maybe I don't know. I need to understand it more deeply. And now, then really we understand. Like some topics, whenever I hear from His Holiness Bhakti Vigyan Maharaj, so some topics like uh, uh, I know Maharaj is going to speak on this, and I go to again listen it. He is going to give some more new insights in that. He always upgrades in his understanding of the subjects. So this is actually saintly. So I think, okay, I know it. I have spoken on it. But again, I hear from him. I get a newer insight. So same thing. Of course, it is not out of humility. I'm like more interested in knowledge. But here, they are trying to understand him, trying to know more deeply about the subject. It's a great humility. The Prabhupada is writing, Prithvi Maharaj is well conversant in transcendental. Yet, he presented himself before Kumaras as one of ignorant. So he's conversant. The idea is that even if a person is very exalted and knows everything before his superiors, he should present questions. For instance, although Arjuna knew all transcendental science, he questioned Krishna as if he did not know. Prithu Maharaj knew everything, but he presented himself before Kumaras as if he did not know anything. The idea is that questions by exalted persons put before the Supreme Lord or his devotees are meant for benefit of general people. Therefore, sometimes great personality put themselves in the position and inquire from a higher authority because they are always thinking of the benefit of others. So it is we want to help, and that is very important. What happens is Krishna will empower. If a desire is there to help and serve, Krishna will make sure that it happens. Sangama खलु साधूनाम् उभयेषां च सम्मतः यत् सम्भाषण सम्पृश्न सर्वेषां वितनोति सम्. When there is a congregation of devotees, the discussion, questions and answers becomes conclusive to both the speaker and the audience. Thus, such a meeting is beneficial for everyone's real happiness. So what happens is that when we get our doubts clarified, when we get a clear understanding of the concept, then our faith increases. We get more confidence in practicing. We understand reality more clearly. The blur vision is gone. So hearing discussion among the devotees is only means to receive the powerful message of Supreme Lord. So this is the only means. For instance, Bhagavad Gita has been well known all over the world for a very long time, especially in Western world. But because the subject matter was not discussed by devotees, so this is what Prabhupada is telling. Until Prabhupada went to West and preached Bhagavad Gita, people could not understand, especially in the Western world. But because the subject matter was not discussed by devotees, there is no effect. Not a single person in the West became Krishna conscious before the Krishna conscious movement was founded. But when the same Bhagavad Gita was presented as it is through the disciplic succession, the effect of spiritualization was immediately. Actually, two reasons were there here. One is it was present by a devotee. So why it spread immediately manifested? First reason is presented as it is. But second reason is they could see a living example. Of Srila Prabhupada. So this is actually main reason. When they hear Bhagavad Gita, they want to see somebody who is practicing Bhagavad Gita. So when they saw that there is a person in front of them who is living Bhagavad Gita, for them it became easy to practice it. So that is the advantage that happened. So we need to know it's not just knowing Bhagavad Gita, we need to have an example also. And Prabhupada could make it. So Sanat Kumar, one of the Kumaras, informed Prithu that his meeting with Kumaras benefited not only Maharaj Prithu but the Kumaras as well. So when Narada Muni questioned Lord Brahma about the Supreme Lord, Brahma thanked Narada for giving him a chance to speak about the Supreme Lord. So it helps us to, therefore, questions put by saintly persons to another saintly person about the Supreme Lord and about the ultimate goal of life surcharge everything spiritually. Whoever takes advantage of such discussions is benefited both in this life and in the next life. So anytime when there is a discussion on Krishna, we are going to get super benefit. The word Ubhayesham cha Ubhayesham can be described in many ways. Generally, there are two classes of men, the materialistic and the transcendentalist. By hearing discussion between devotees, both the materialistic and transcendentalists are benefited. The materialistic is benefited by association with devotees because his life then becomes regulated so that just a minute, there's some problem in the signal. Hmm. Yeah. So here it is saying the word. So here that both will get benefited. So the conclusion is that if one participates in a discussion of devotees, he is both materially and spiritually benefited. So that's what Kumaras are telling. Next shloka says that अस्त्येव राजन् भवतो मधुद्विषः पादारविन्दस्य गुणानुवादने रतिर्दुरापा विदुनोति नैष्टिकी कामं कषायं मलमन्त्र आत्मनः. Sanat Kumar continued, my dear king, you are already have an inclination to glorify the lotus feet of Supreme Personality of Godhead. Such attachment is very difficult to achieve. But when one has attained such unflinching faith in the Lord, it automatically cleanses lusty desires from the core of the heart. So we need to have attachment to glorify the Supreme Lord, which is actually very difficult to achieve. This is who are telling. This is told by Kumara. So very difficult to achieve. What is that? Inclination to glorify the lotus feet of Lord. So when has attained such unflinching faith, automatically the lust is disappeared from the heart. Tatam prasango mamavirya samvito bhavanthit karna rasayana kata tadoshanada sapavargavatmani shraddharatir bhaktir anukramishati. So all the things, Shraddha, Rati, Bhakti, everything will come. And by associating with devotees, dirty things within the heart of materialistic men are gradually washed away by the grace of Supreme Lord. So actually, the living beings have no connection with this material enjoyment, nor with lusty desire. He is simply imagining or dreaming with while sleep. But by association of pure devotees, he is awakened. So this is the process. We need to at least get some level of attachment to glorify the Lord by the end of our life. Then there is hope for next life. Shastreshva iyan eva sunishchito ninam kshemasya shraddharyaga vimrisheshu hetu asanga atma vetirikta atmani दधारतिर्ब्रह्मणि निगुणे च या निर्गुणे च या. It has been conclusively decided in the scriptures after due consideration that the ultimate goal for the welfare of human society is detachment from material bodily conception of life and increase the steadfast attachment to Supreme Lord who is transcendental beyond the modes of material nature. So what is the solution they are giving? They are telling, Array, first they glorified Prithu Maharaj's question. Then they said actually we'll also get benefited. Now they are telling, so this sloka they are telling that you are very fortunate. So you are very fortunate because you have attachment to glorify Supreme Lord. So they have appreciation for each other. Prithu Maharaj is appreciating four Kumaras, and even four Kumaras have appreciation for Supreme Lord. So here they are telling that we also get benefited. Here by hearing, and then they say, oh, you already have so much attachment, you are very fortunate. And then they say it has been concluded, conclusively decided in scriptures after due consideration. Now they are coming to the solution part. So they are telling that ultimate goal for the welfare of society is to ultimate is detachment. Why detachment? This is jnana plus. So they are telling him about jnana plus. They are telling ultimately it is detachment from family conception and no, and in increased steady fast attachment to Supreme Lord, who is transcendental beyond modes. Actually, we get detachment automatically when we work on Supreme Lord. Separately, need not cultivate. That is actually difference. We don't tell detachment as a goal. We tell it is a product of doing bhakti. Ultimately, it is Krishna's attachment to Krishna is what matters. Detach from matter automatically happens. They are no Vasudeve Bhagavati Bhakti Yoga Prayojitah Janayati Asu Vairagyam Jnanam Chahayatakam. Janati Asu Vairagyam Jnanam. Both will come. But what we should do, Vasudeve Bhagavati. So that is our formula, right? So everyone in human society is engaged in ultimate benefit of life, but persons who are in the bodily concept cannot achieve the ultimate goal, nor can they understand what it is. So this is the people don't know what is the, nor they can understand because there's so much in bodily conception. The ultimate goal of life is described in Bhagavad Gita. Param Drishtva Nivartate. When one finds out the supreme goal of life, he naturally becomes detached from the bodily concept. Here in this verse, the indication is that one has to study fastly increase attachment to transcendental, to the transcendent. So see, Prabhupada is clearly telling. When one finds out the supreme goal of life, he naturally becomes detached from the bodily concept of life. So what we should do, one has to study fastly increase attachment for transcendence. So that is our process. Atato Brahma Jignasa. We have to inquire for the truth. Atato Brahma Jignasa means that in order to get out of the bodily concept, one has to increase attachment. So this is the automatically happen. Atato Brahma Jignasa means that in order to get out of bodily conception, one has to increase attachment to or inquire about Brahman. Then he can be situated in the transcendental devotional service, Shravanam Kirtanam. To increase attachment for Brahman means to engage in devotional service. Prabhupada is immediately clarifying. To increase attachment to Brahman means to engage in devotional service. Those who are attached to impersonal form of Brahman cannot remain attached for long, for very long. Impersonalist, after rejecting this world as mithya, false, come down again to this Jagan Maya, on, although they take sannyas to increase their attachment for Brahman. So this is the example. We should not get attached to this material world. And now further it says that श्रद्धया भगवद्धर्मचारायया जिज्ञासयाध्यात्मिकयोगनिष्ठया योगेश्वरारोपासनया च नित्यं पुण्यं सर्वः कतया पुण्यया च. Attachment to the Supreme can be increased by practicing devotional service, inquiring about the Supreme Lord, applying bhakti in life, worshipping the Yogeshwara, Supreme Lord, and by hearing and chanting about the glories of Supreme Lord. These actions are pious in themselves. So this is what need to be done. What for what? To increasing the attachment to Supreme Lord. You do all this. Navada Bhakti. You have to, you can be increased by practicing devotion, inquiring about and applying Bhakti Yoga in life, worshipping Yogeshwara, hearing and chanting about the glory. All these things. So, Prabhupada writing, Naishapatistavadurukramangrim spusatyanantopagamo yadartha mahiyasham padarajobhishekam nishkinchananam vanitayavat. So, very clearly Prabhupada explaining that Krishna is described as the Supreme Lord Hari, the master of all mystics. Yatra Yogeshwara Krishna. So here, Same Yukta Tamo Mataha. The Yuktam Atma means indicated the topmost of all yogis. And here they are called Nishkinchana. One who takes shelter of pure devotees, who has nothing to do with this material world, is simply engaged in devotional service. By serving him, one can transcend the qualitative material condition. Yesha Swantagatam Papam Jananam Punyakarmana Te Dandamoha Nirmukta Bhajante Mam Dadapataha. So to become fixed in devotional service, one has to become completely cleansed from the contamination of material modes of nature. So next shloka. So they are giving the first they told become detached and attached to Supreme Lord, and how to attach to Supreme Lord. So they are giving this. How to develop attachment here. So they told be detached from matter and be attached to Supreme Lord. That's what two verses. Then says one has to make progress in spiritual life by not associating with persons who are simply interested in sense gratification and making money. So now he is telling keep away from wrong association. Not only such persons, but one who associate with such persons should be avoided. So therefore one should mold his life in such a way that he cannot live in peace without drinking the nectar of the glorification of Supreme Lord Hari. One can be thus elevated by being disgusted with the taste of sense enjoyment. So, Atrendriyaramasagoshtya atshnaya tatsammatanam aparigrahena cha viviktare ruchiya prati paritosha atmani Vina Rer Gunapiyushabani. So this is what don't associate with materialistic people. So we should not associate. So that will actually damage it. And one should mold life in such a way that he cannot live in peace without drinking the nectar of glorifying Supreme Lord. So and make arrangements for uh, make arrangements for hearing and chanting or for bhakti. Right. So Prabhupada is telling material world, everyone is interested in money and sense gratitude. The only objective is to earn as much money as possible and utilize it for sense satisfaction of senses. Nidra hiyate naktam vyavayena cha vayaha diyachartahaya rajan kutumba bharanena va. So this is what Bhagavatam says. This is a typical example of materialistic person. At night they waste time for sleeping and sex intelligence. This is their occupation at night, and in the morning they go to their office or business place just to earn money. As soon as there is some money, they become busy in purchasing things for their children and others. Such persons are never interested in understanding the values of life. What is God? What is individual soul? What is the relationship? Things are degraded to such an extent that those who are supposed to be religious and also at present moment interested only in sense gratification. So those who are supposed to be religious, they are also sense gratifying. So the number of materialistic persons in the age of Kali has increased more than in any other age. Therefore, persons who are interested in going back to God, it should not only engage in service of religion, but their should give up the company of materialistic persons whose only aim is to earn money and enjoy. So we should be very careful with such association. Simply negotiation or giving up the company of materialistic will not do. So this is negative thing. Now positive thing is we must have engagement. Sometimes it is found that persons interested in spiritual advancement give up the company of material society and goes to a secluded place as recommended for the yogis especially, but that will not help a person in spiritual advancement. You see, just giving up material association is not sufficient. We have to, that will not help a person advance. He will fall down. As far as Jnanis are concerned, they fall down without taking shelter or lotus feet of Lord. Impersonalists or voidists can simply avoid the positive material association. They cannot remain fixed in transcendence without being engaged in devotional service. The beginning of devotional service is to hear about the glories of Lord. This is recommended in this verse. Vina Hare Guna Piyusha Panat. One must drink the nectar of glories of Supreme Personality of Godhead, and this means that one must be always engaged in hearing and chanting the glories of Lord. So this is Prabhupada. The Krishna conscious movement is started for the purpose so that hundreds of ISKCON centers may give people a chance to hear and chant. This is 24th verse. It says, Ahimsaya Parahamsya cha Parahamsacharyaya Vritya Mukunda Chiritagrisi Tuna Yamair Akamair Niyamair Chapyan Anindaya Nirihaya Dvandva Titikshaya cha. A candidate for spiritual advancement must be non-violent, must follow in the footsteps of great acharyas, must always remember the nectar of the pastimes of Supreme Lord, must follow the regulative principles without material desires, and while following the regulative principles should not blaspheme others. The devotee should lay a very simple life and not be disturbed by duality of opposing elements. He should learn to tolerate them. So this is what this verse is, and a huge, but not huge, but good purpose. So we'll continue tomorrow. Any questions, comments till now? Okay, thank you all very much. Andhra Srimad Bhagavatam ki Jai Srila Prabhupada. Hare